Welcome to Podtendo, a Nintendo podcast, where they analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. Hey guys, welcome to the Podtendo podcast, where we analyze, reminisce, and replay the glory of old Nintendo games. Be contacted on Twitter at Podtendo Podcast. Email us, podtendo@gmail.com. We're on YouTube. That's probably the best place to contact us right now. That's kind of where we're kind of the most active. We're also on like Facebook, Instagram. If you're a social, probably there. We're probably there. I'm your co-host, Mick. I'm joined ever so by my lovely and talented co-host,
Tyson.
See, I kind of screwed up this intro too. 2 weeks ago, I was saying, I screwed up the intro. I never do that. And then I screwed it up. It was a good recording couple weeks for me. Review Let's Play Pop Culture Retrospective Show. Yeah, I got it all in. It's pretty exciting.
Yes. It's good to be back. I mean, doing these mainline shows are always fun. So, and we got a really interesting game on our hands, which I think we both. You were champion in this one, and I'm happy that you did.
Nice, cool. So what we're doing today, like Tyson alluded to, is we're doing a game we've already looked at on this podcast. So Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. There was an HD remake released a couple years ago for the Switch. I think it's a solid experience. It kind of ups this classic title with the Game Boy game. What was it called? Nintendo Online Game Boy app collection now available, and this is one of the titles. I was like, this would be a good time to go back and touch on this classic, right? Because like, it's good. Other show, I think I screwed up in the editing somewhere, so it's a little bit hard to listen to, so we can go back and listen to. Not only that, but already having notes that I can just kind of edit and add a couple things to and clean up. It's kind of fun. So this is going to be, I don't know, it's going to be an interesting show. I kind of experiment on this. We're going to be going back in time. This is our skeleton notes, so we're going to get to make fun of me writing our old notes before. Lots of the stuff I haven't read for years, right? And I'm wondering maybe in the future as we go forward, maybe we start doing that. We have over 120 some games in the bank. Maybe we'll go back to old shows once in a while. Maybe once in a while, like once or twice a year, we just play a classic game and like remaster it ourselves. So this is a Podtendo remaster. The first. Well, actually not the first, because we've done Link to the Past like 10 times and Super Mario World a couple times. So
yeah, a couple randomizers. Yeah. But you know what? I really enjoy this game, so I was happy to go back.
Sweet. Okay, so let's find. I'm as excited as you guys are to listen to these old notes. So look at that. Right at the top, I've got my intro written down because I had to read it out because I didn't have it memorized at this point. And then I have Game Boy. So apparently I was like, we'll never look at Game Boy games ever again. Should we talk about them? I don't. Yeah.
I like how you went through all the actual effort of including the different versions.
Yeah.
Now we should just pick one and just stick to it.
Yeah. So there we go. So then getting into the vital stats of this game. So Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening was initially released June 6th, 1993. The DX saw a version, so an upgraded version, December 15th, 1998. And the HD remaster was released September 20th, 2019. So there you go. 3 different release dates for this one title because this game has been remade 3 times. Oh, Nintendo.
Yeah. Yes. But I think the most recent one is a solid remake because this is what I ask for when I ask for a remake of a game. Just give me better graphics, make the controls more intuitive, and make it a seamless experience.
Make it as cute as hell. Oh boy, did they do that. So how long to beat as this game? At 14.5 hours. Actual retail price was $39.99. If you factor in inflation, that'd be some number that I couldn't even fathom. current eBay price, a factory sealed copy of this game goes for $470. And that was like when we did the show. It's probably worth more. And a used copy for $15? Man, if you can find Link's Awakening on the Game Boy for $15, buy it.
That sounds like a bargain.
He pulls up eBay on his phone and eShop price, like every other eShop, it would be $5, except the 3DS doesn't exist anymore. So it closed a couple weeks ago. So you can only play it on the Nintendo or the Game Boy Online on your Switch, or I guess the HD remastered version. So in sales, 9.91 million of all versions considered. Neat, cool.
Yeah. And that was pre-HD remake.
Yeah.
Numbers,
okay. So. Yeah. You know what? A copy of this game's still like $50. There's one, just the cartridge, $50 shipped to your house. It's not horrific.
No. But I feel like they must have sold 1 million of these games.
Yeah.
Because of this, and this is an experience that I love to kind of go back to because I have such fond memories of it. Because, man, we must have put. Or we killed a lot of batteries playing this game on car trips.
Well, we'll get into our first memories, but it is kind of interesting. This is our first. So Tyson, as the story goes, and my parents will now argue with me, we got a Game Boy. Tyson got Link's Awakening as his game to share on our Game Boy. So really, Tyson just got a Game Boy, and I got a TalkBack pen, and I won. Again, I won. I thought it was the best. Tyson was an idiot. It's funny that you got maybe arguably the best Game Boy game as your first game ever on a system. Like, how often does that happen?
No, not very. Yeah. But it was like set that bar super high.
100%. Like, because how close are you to picking instead of Legend of Zelda, like Turbo Blast Auto Racer, and it's this stupid car sim game that's terrible, and you're like, I hate the Game Boy. You're probably a different person if you don't get this. Crazy. Yep. Crazy how that works. So where to play? So the OG Game Boy Deluxe release on the Wii U, Virtual Consoles. Well, not anymore. On the Switch via the Game Boy Player. What the hell is a Game Boy Player? Oh, I see it, because I made these notes new. And then the HD release. All right, so before we get too far into it, we're going to travel back. We're going to do an abridged version of our Wayback Machine, because I think we have a couple to get through on this show. So the first one, we're not going to bore you guys. We're just going to kind of go through it quickly. We're going to travel back to June 6, 1993. Find out, do we want to live there? So we're going to see what was going on in The Simpsons. The Simpsons, we see season 4, episode 22. Krusty gets canceled. Gabbo! I don't know what that is. That's what everyone's talking about, though. Or Exo Squad, season 1, episode 1. Pirate Scourge and Fall of the Human Empire, part 1. So after a pirate attack, the Exo fleet must try and counterattack but is captured in a trap. So of those two shows, Tyson, what would you rather watch?
I remember these notes now because Exo Squad showed up, and now it's
No, we never did Wayback Machines back in the day. This is new.
What? Cool.
Yeah.
Man, like for these Exo Squads, they were the ones with like essentially the big mech suits.
Yeah. Like mech porn before anime took it over.
And I had the green one. I would usually go The Simpsons. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to just start watching season 4 of The Simpsons after this.
Okay.
Because I'm like, you know what? I do want to watch Krusty Gets Canceled. But I think I gotta go Exo Squad here because I'm looking at some pictures here, and I remember you had the blue one. I had the big green guy. Yeah.
Not just had Tyson. I still have the green mech in a box in my basement of toys.
You know what? I'm so happy you have that because I was you were shopping on eBay for Link's Awakening cartridges. I might have just been looking at Exo Squad prices.
I wonder if we still have, because we had like a black one, like a black suit with a blue person in it, and then we each had you had like two little guys. I had a blue one, and you had like another guy. I don't know.
I had a green guy.
Yeah.
And then I had
this is like the best podcast I've ever heard. Blue guys, green guys. Good job, Exo Squad.
Yep.
JT Marsh. Cool. You're a cool guy, JT Marsh. I know that's just the name that popped up. Awesome. Good job, Exo Squad. Other TV shows you could be watching are Walker, Texas Ranger, X-Files, NYPD Blue, Frasier, and Boy Meets World. And you're like, oh, Okay, all right. What about top cartoons? So Beavis and Butthead started this year. Animaniacs, Theodore Tugboat, Biker Mice from Mars, Mighty Max, and both Sonic cartoons. Cool.
Ooh. This is kind of some fun cartoons. All right TV shows. I mean, X-Files is decent.
Yeah.
And Frasier's not bad.
Frasier ran for 11 years.
That's insane.
Yeah, seems unnecessary. Other movies you could be watching are Jurassic Park. That was this weekend, so we've actually been here before. That's why I'm not going to play songs, because we've been here so goddamn much. Still in theaters could be Cliffhanger, Hot Shots Part 2, and A Decent Proposal. And if you waited a week or two, you could see The Firm, In the Line of Fire, and Free Willy. So we watched The Firm. It's, Tom Cruise, early work. He's like an up-and-coming lawyer. The sound mixing in that is so terrible. There's a scene where he goes to prison to talk to his brother about something, and there's this saxophone going like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, beep, 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 doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, beep, beep, beep. And it's like this super serious thing, and there's this guy noodling along the saxophone. Fucking awful. Absolutely terrible. We just watched the last 10 minutes after that point. I don't know. Anyways, movies. They're a thing.
Yeah. Well, the 90s wasn't known for its ability to be subtle. So
yeah. Top video games released probably this year. So just 93, Bob, Lufia and the Fortress of Doom, Pocky and Rocky, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, and Super Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Well, maybe it was just this month. 90s is tough, right? Because you just don't get a lot of info what's released where. So you get some games that are okay.
Nope. Very cool. Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. I'm happy.
Yeah, there you go.
Lufia and the Fortress of Doom sounds interesting.
Lufia is a RPG that I've heard is talked about as the best on the Super Nintendo. So it's up there with the Chrono Triggers and the Final Fantasy 3s and 2s and stuff. So if you ever were itching for an old RPG, Lufia is something we could get to maybe.
Yeah. Well, we could look into it because I don't want to get into another Final Fantasy 8 situation.
Yeah. All right, and the top 3 songs, I'm just gonna miss them. You look them up. I don't want to play those. I just want to get back into this game.
Yep.
Because I think we're doing another one at the end of the show. Yeah. So development details. So this game started as an unsanctioned side project to test the Game Boy's capabilities. Working on this game was like an after-hours club. It started off as a Link to the Past port, but then developed into its own game. It was supposed to be a spin-off game. That is why there's other video game elements in this title, such as Mario appears, and there's a Kirby at one point, and there's Goombas. The game was designed to have a Twin Peaks feel to it. Hanoma and Ishikawa composed the music of this title. I stopped writing Japanese names because I'm terrible at pronouncing them, so note for my future self. Many elements of this game inspired Ocarina of Time, like the fishing game and the side quest trading game. No, it didn't inspire Ocarina of Time. How dare you? How dare you?
Well, the Twin Peaks feel, I kind of get, actually.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sometimes you go into rooms, with the little magic guy, the little shop owner, if you steal from him, and he just kills you, very Twin Peaks. That was yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of everybody keeps being hey, this world's gonna disappear, and you might need to wake up and stuff, and it's kind of lead these breadcrumbs to be very ominous. It's hey, just so you know, when you play those things, everything's gonna go away, even the people, including the people. Mm-hmm.
Or after what is the third dungeon, when you can get into the little house, the Ocarina house, and go to sleep, and you wake up, and it's everyone's backwards talking, and it's this weird room, and there's a flaming card, just like Twin Peaks.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Game Boy printer, I believe that was... So it's funny, this game actually kind of is a driving force of hardware. So it's the Game Boy. It helped propel the Game Boy and made people want to play, buy Game Boys, play Game Boy games because of how great it was. And then when they remade it for the Game Boy Color, they were using it to push the Game Boy printer. So again, use one of your more popular games to push some hardware. Neat. Cool. And then, of course, it was one of the first bigger titles. What was it? Third launched Zelda game on the Switch. It's kind of a big deal.
Yep. Right? And I remember I didn't buy it at launch. I bought it recently. but everybody who played it was like, no, this is easily the best version of this game.
Oh,
so
yes, the HD remake. Like, say what you love. I love the originals. I love the DX. I love the Game Boy. This one is just so damn cute. It's so colorful. It's so well done. So much care and love was put into it. It's great. It was remastered on the Game Boy Color in 1998. This remake is presented in 3D and uses toy-like plasticine characters rather than the Wind Waker style. So one of the biggest departures from the Wind Waker style that really took over what Zelda games looked like, right? All of the hourglasses, the train one, what's that called? Spirit Tracks.
Yeah, Spirit Tracks.
Right.
Phantom Hourglass.
Even Link's appearance in Smash Brothers. Toon Link was just a character that was around, so this was one of the biggest shifts in genre, right? That style stayed with this series for a very, very long time. Look at Hyrule Warriors. Is that what it's called? No. What's Triforce Warriors? Triforce Heroes? When you're like the three of you, you still look like...
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
It still looks like Wind Waker.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So they kind of had that art style up until that point. So this was a big shift from that Wind Waker style.
Yeah, and I think it works really well, especially with the almost the way the screen in the world looks. Just the grass is just fantastic, and the way they everything just feels so lively. Whereas it's just one of the biggest problems with the original handheld games was just the screen transitions. Because it was just limited hardware, which makes sense, but you don't have that limitation. So to just do a big open world where you can just go exploring, and it's just so freeing. It's really fun to play and just run around.
Nice. It is presented in widescreen, so you can peek at areas that you don't have access to. Opposed to so it's a full-fledged world. You can peek over the glass and you say, oh, there's an area I can't get to later in the game. Really neat, really cute. Dampe's Shack allows you to use Dungeon Room to create your own dungeons. So you can use the tiles that exist in the game and kind of create your own little dungeons. Very fun little side content, kind of Zelda Maker, the closest we're going to get to Zelda Maker or have got thus far. It's good. It's nice. And then the remake uses hand-drawn animation cutscene. Neat.
Yeah. Just really well done. Obviously, the people who made the HD remake, and obviously, I guess actually kind of any version of this game, because from the original Game Boy version to the DX version to this version, every kind of version kind of has tried to push the the limits of what it can do, and it just always delivers. And I think that this is a little bit of a smaller scale of a remake, and it just fits so perfectly. And they made this game so much fun that I was wasting hours playing this, and you're like, oh no, it's midnight, I better go to bed.
Awesome.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Yeah. No. Definitive. If you haven't played this, play it. I've heard people say, one of the guys I worked with, he's like, oh yeah, my girlfriend got into that and 100%ed it. She had to get everything. She found all the seashells, all the heart pieces, absolutely loved it. Very accessible world, very cool. So the controls, they're very fluent in this title. The directional pad moves you around. You can use items with A and B. Except in HD, they have it cleaned up, so they actually use shoulder buttons and your X and Y. There is a cheat that if you exit a screen and hit select, you are teleported across the screen to the same location and can pass some obstacles. And this game introduced a lot of fun items such as bomb arrows, except in the remake you can't do that. Yeah, cool. So those are the controls of this fun game.
Yeah. And no, in the remake, you have a dedicated sword button, and then you have the multiple or the two actual
items, but you also have your shield always mapped to a button. Your dash is mapped to another button, right? So it's pretty much you just always get a jump button, because this is Link gets to jump with the rock feather. Once you get that ability, why would you not always have that equipped?
Yeah, especially considering you have so many, and this game was designed around only two inputs. So to have the sword, the shield, two additional items just kind of kicking around and then the Pegasus boots, there's nothing holding you back. It's just and it's nice that the game designers weren't just no, we're gonna put these limitations back because they were there in the original. It's no, they just wanted you to have a good time with it. So
Make it clean, make it for everybody. It's great. Jumping. It's funny when this game came out. So there was 4, like I'm talking the original in 93. You have Zelda 1, he doesn't jump. Zelda 2, he can jump. Link to the Awakening, or Link to the Past, he doesn't jump. Link's Awakening, he does. So 50% of the games in 1993, Link can actually jump. He was agile, so it's funny that they kind of went away with that in the 3D advents, right? So
yeah, and I guess the only jumping that he does is jumping sideways in Ocarina of Time.
And backflipping to go faster, yeah.
Good
times. So, first memories. Again, this was our very first Game Boy we had. I don't recall getting very far when we first played it. It took me a while to figure out anything out in this game. I maybe got to the second level as a kid. I was monumental when you figured out the 3 enemy puzzle and took down the genie with some friends. It wasn't until we started playing the game in like 6th grade. So how old would you be? 6th grade, like 12, 9. Yeah, 11, I was
12, yeah.
Like 1997, 8 or something. Finally, we were able to kind of finally wrap this, right? So it took a little while. It was fun to beat without a guide and figure everything out. It was very like 90s kids problem. It was kind of a shared experience to kind of beat this game, at least with my group of friends. This game holds up as one of my favorite Zelda titles. I don't always hold it in high regard, but anytime I pick it up, I have an amazing time. So do you have any first memories with this game?
Yeah, I remember the opening so vividly, like just what you're supposed to do and to get your shield and to go push the little spiky guys. And yeah, I just have like this really vivid memory of playing the beginning and being so afraid of the big bomb. What the heck's the thing on the chain?
Chain chomp.
Chain chomp, yeah. And then you actually get him as a buddy. It was a lot of fun, and I remember all the little puzzle solving as a kid. It was just exactly what I needed at that time. So I have nothing but fond memories with this. So replaying it was like, I'm gonna see how far I can get before I kind of just like have to refer to something because I get lost. And I knew I was gonna get to the 3 enemy spot, and I'm like, I'm gonna forget the order. And sure enough, I did.
That's fair. Yeah, a couple of years ago when I powered through this, when I was in a big emulator phase, I think I figured it out. And I kind of have it down, and I just remember, okay, it's one of 3. I couldn't tell you what it is off the top of my head, but I just go in and try each sequence, and then eventually get it, and you say, okay, cool, great, awesome. For the HD remake, I know this is your first time playing it. I got it a couple years ago as a birthday gift from my in-laws. Great. Anytime my parents or in-laws, if you listen to this, want to buy me a birthday present, and you just get me a pre-order for some future game that's coming out, and it shows up in my mailbox randomly in like September, man, that's sweet. I love it.
Yeah. You know what? That's
pre-ordered video games as a gift is amazing because you get it as a gift. And you're like, oh, cool, thanks, man. And then like 2 months later, it just shows up, and you're like, I completely forgot about that. That's incredible. It's a double gift.
Yeah, and it's like something that you wouldn't really do for yourself. So to get it, it's kind of like, oh, that's
yeah. I guess I'll play this game, and then I'm playing it. I'm like, oh, I love it so much.
Yeah. That's a good problem to have.
Oh, yeah. So, story of this game. Link is caught in the storm while at sea. His ship is hit by lightning, and he awakens on a mysterious island. All right. So, level notes. You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, so this is level notes written years ago. Awakening is the first section. You wake up in bed and get your shield. There's nothing else to do, so you head to the beach to find your sword. Cutting adventure. Oh, look at this. I have cute little puns on everything. From here, you gain access to new areas. You can collect a heart piece and move right onto the forest. Leafy greens. In the forest, we are looking for a mushroom, which becomes magic powder, which becomes sneeze powder. Pass the raccoon and get the tail key. In our first level, the tail caverns. It's pretty straightforward first level. I'm pretty sure even Child Mick was able to beat this level. The item here is the rock feather. It allows you to jump in an overhead view as well as side views. This right here is a game changer. The boss of this area is Maldor. It's a worm thing from A Link to the Past. All right. Wow, that was the opening of this game.
Yep.
I feel like my note writing has got better.
Yes. Well, you also you just didn't want to miss anything, so it's kind of like, and there's lots of like little things that do happen in this game, and that's what it's like. You go get the every all these like little actions. They're always like little rewards to make you want to keep going. And we didn't talk at all. It hasn't been mentioned yet, but the Goombas showing up.
Yeah,
it's like I love the integration of the Mario universe with Zelda.
Yeah, so there's lots of side-scrolling sections, so very similar to the original game, or I guess even harkens to Zelda 2, that you kind of have to move along. And yeah, you always find Goombas. Anytime you jump on them or fall on them, they produce a heart. Kind of cute. I like it. It's nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So now the next section is where, oh where, has my little dog... ... Madame Bow Wow's chain chomp has been stolen, so we better go to the swamp and save him. Fight the moblins in the cave and free the beast. With him, we now have access to the swamp dungeon. This area is an introduction level to the game. There are some Switch puzzles, but most of it revolves around lifting puzzles. The room with the bunny, skeleton, and bat is a tough one. The item is the power bracelet, and the boss is the genie. He's a genie in a bottle, baby. You have to rub him the right way. Okay.
Yeah. One thing about the HD remake is if there's like, once you get there's an audio cue showing you that there's a secret in a room.
Mm-hmm. Well, that happens in the original Game Boy. The compass has a new feature. It tones when there's something in the room.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Got you. Well, I noticed it because I was actually playing with the sound on. Because man, the sound in this game is just...
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
Cool.
It works quite well.
Very, very nice. All right. So what is a random question? Remember I was doing that? And then I maybe stopped for a couple shows? Well, I guess you couldn't do that for Killer Instinct because we did like a review.
Yeah.
So that's a pass. And like Golden Sun, I didn't want to. And I think I did it for Pokemon. Okay, so I'm doing all right. Okay, all right. So what is the hook of this game? So you played for a couple hours. You got a couple dungeons in. What is keeping you going?
The hook to me is like, I mean, obviously nowadays it's kind of the nostalgia of it, but I think the hook kind of just would be in general would be like it's another like it's really like like a sequel or a prequel or a sidequel to a Link to the Past, and I just love being in that world. And I think that this has a lot of the similar kind of vibes to it, but the controls are really tight. You're really interacting with the villagers, so you feel like very connected with them. Like you're helping, like even the shopkeeper and the crane game guy are always just like they're very memorable characters.
Oh yeah.
And I just remember like. I forgot all about the moblins stealing the chain chomp, but like I know it happens at some point, but I couldn't remember when. And then it like I was playing it and it happens like, oh man, I forgot all about this. So
cool.
It was rewarding to go and go exploring. And now that you have the feather, it kind of opens up another area, and it really feeds that gameplay loop, but has almost like a little narrative to it. And I love how much narrative there is in this game.
And I was going to say that's kind of what I think the hook is, just how weird this game is, right? Like at one point you're up on a mountain and this guy's like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, give me a pineapple. Now I got vittles. Now I can keep collecting flowers. And you're like, that's weird. Or like during the trading quest when there's a goat girl, or was it hippo woman? And she's like, can you give this picture of me to my boyfriend? And it's just a picture of Princess Peach. It's kind of mature. It's a little bit, cheeky. And yeah, like it does have a weird Twin Peaks vibe, right? Like you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, when you walk into a room sometimes you're like, I don't know what this guy's going to say to me, but he has a bunch of frogs and he's a king. So sure, I'll go into this dirty dungeon under his house. It's fun. So I don't know. The atmosphere, the world, you want to kind of keep exploring. And Tyson, like you mentioned, the positive feedback loop. You get an item, you get to, and you're like, I got a piece of heart. Great. Wonder what other stuff I can do. And it just kind of encourages exploration, which is what you want in a game like this. So back into a game. Head east, young hero. So with the power gloves, you can now head towards the east part of the map. You'll find a big castle. Oh yeah, I forgot about the castle. That's fun. That you couldn't access. You find the owners in a villa. Help a monkey, collect some leaves, get a key, and unlock the dungeon. The Key Cavern. Here I'd recommend Guide. There's a few You can skip a few parts of this level if you're on the correct path. Basically, you need a lot of keys. There's an easy mini boss that you can kill with bombs. You have to get used to running and jumping to maneuver this level. I don't think that's spelled right. Item is the Pegasus boots, just like A Link to the Past. And the boss here is the Slime Eye. He's not too hard.
Yeah. Maneuverability. It's just like I love the freedom that you feel in this game. Like you can really just like scoot and shuffle all over the place.
Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? Like he just is so agile, and it just seems like he overpowers the levels with his abilities, right?
Yes, and it gives you the ability to kind of do that. And if you know where you're going, you can easily skip parts, so you don't have to necessarily go through every little nook and cranny if you don't want to, but you can if you do.
Yeah, I would say versus say the Oracle games that come out kind of after that, which is like the big brother of this series. I feel like the world is like they know how agile Link is, and they create challenges to push that, right? Whereas here, I feel like you can cheese the game, and there's like some jumps that you should be able to make that you can make if you take the right angle, and I like that. I like being able to break a game and feeling like I'm like better than the game versus the game being like, can you do this tough challenge, right? Like you know it's gonna take you 1 out of 10 attempts, we'll make it. I don't like when that kind of happens, because then it's just I'm like, well, what's the challenge? I want to break the game. I don't want to just be challenged by you. So all right.
Yeah.
So then we across the river. You can use the boots to gain access to the animal village. You find a lazy walrus, have to travel the world with Malin, fight some worms in a desert, and get a key. You can head to the mountains to access the Angler Tunnel. But first, side quests. We can go to the color dungeon. So in the DX version, there was a color dungeon. There's some color puzzles, flippy floppy tile puzzle, several mini bosses, a big blue electric thing. I think you use magic power to turn him red. No, in this one, what is he? He's like do you use magic powder on him?
I think so.
Okay. And then he like turns green, and you can attack him, something like that.
Something like that.
The items you get here is you can either choose a blue tunic to increase your defense, or a red tunic to increase your attack. Did you do the color dungeon?
I did. Which color did you choose?
I think I always just pick red now because this game is so easy. I don't need more defense.
That's fair. I was taking a ton of damage, so I grabbed blue, and then I laughed at why I was like, I should just go back and grab the red one, because I know you can just redo it and go just open up the box and grab the red one. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep the blue. I usually grab the red, and honestly, it was so funny. Sometimes you're just like, I feel like I could just like willy-nilly rush and not worry about like if I take damage, who cares?
Yeah.
And that was kind of like part of my game plan, and and having 2 bottles, I think at this point maybe I only have 1 bottle.
Oh, the bottles in the HD remake. Yeah, so you can get one from the fishing game. There's one you get from Dampe. I don't know where the second one is, because I think I also had 2 during this. It must be a reward maybe from like the seashells.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a seashell thing.
Okay.
But I know the other one is just the fishing, so I ran and got that one real quick. It's like, then grab yourself a fairy and
you're laughing. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. This game can definitely be overcheesed, and I find again I don't take that much damage, and then with a Crazy Tracy's potion that recovers you and a fairy or 2, I'm like, I'll attack. I'll just overpower everything. Pair that in the original with the level 2 sword, and you're God. Like you're walking around this island and you're like, I am the strongest being ever. You will all die.
Think you can actually like 3-shot the final boss in this game with the red tunic and the level 2 sword, because it's like you're just so overpowered.
Yeah.
You're doing, because like the red tunic is times 2, and then the red sword is also times 2, so you get times 4 or anyways, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's good. I used to do that when I played the DX a couple times. I haven't got the new sword in the 3D just because there's like 50 seashells, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, even with the magnet, that's too much work.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm good. So then also we can do the trading sequence. So we can get the Yoshi doll from the Crane game, which gets us a ribbon, which becomes dog food, which turns into a bananas, which turns into a stick, which turns into honeycomb, which is a pineapple, and then a hibiscus petal to a letter to a broom, and then you finally end up with a fish hook, and I feel the fish hook becomes a mermaid scale, which Yep. It becomes a necklace, which then becomes a
Yes.
mermaid scale, which then opens up like little statue, which lets you get the magnifying glass so you can figure out how to beat the game.
Yes. Okay. Well, and then you also can see the invisible enemies and the invisible guy who will give you a shell in the farm village, and then there's also the guy that will give you the boomerang.
Son of a... Oh, that's why. That's when he appears? I never knew that. Huh.
Yeah. Same thing here. I was like, wait, what? I was like, so as soon as you get this, that's because like if you go talk to in the animal village, the guy will say, hey, keep an eye out for more people like me. And there's that random spot on the beach where you throw a bomb there and there's nothing in it. And I was like, I remember there's a dude here. When does he show up? Apparently he's always there. You just can't see him.
Okay, I knew there was some sequence because like I'd go there early, obviously, and he's never there. And I'm like, interesting. And then at some point later in the game when I'm back on the beach for whatever reason, all of a sudden he'll be there. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I had no idea. Neat. Yep. All right.
I know, and I was like, I know there's the boomerang in this game. Mm-hmm. Like, when do I get the boomerang? It's like, you get it from this guy. It's like, he's not there. When does he show up?
Because he's invisible. Cool.
Because he's invisible.
All right. So then back to our notes.
Very cool.
And I mean, I know in the original, the boomerang's more powerful than the sword is. So it like one hits most enemies. And there's a trick you can do where you can throw it, grab your magic cuckoo that flies, and it will just like hover below you, and you can just like murder everything on the screen.
That's beautiful. I'm so happy that exists.
They don't do it in the remake because I was like, because it's so open world and there's no screen transitions. Like, could you imagine you just had this magical boomerang? Because you could find like an area by, I don't know, the animal village, and you could just like run around and you could kill like 50 enemies with never touching the ground. Like, it would feel so cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
you're probably like, that's probably a good way of farming if it was possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, because your boomerang would pick up rubies, and you just have this giant like horde of rubies below you, and you drop down and they're like $150, and you're like, boom, baby. Yeah. They didn't have it in the remake. Same with bomb arrows, didn't make it, so that's a shame.
Oh well.
Yeah. All right. How about on to the next one? Dream Weaver. So there is a bed in town. You can go to sleep. In your dreams, you find an ocarina. You learn Marin's song when you talk to her. Angler's Tunnel. So this dungeon isn't too tough. So once you get the flippers, this area opens up a lot. When did we get the flippers? Did we head to the mountain to the Angler Tunnel? Oh, I see. We're in the... Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So this dungeon isn't too tough. I don't think there's anything here that should confuse you. Remember to dive under the 4 beams. Flippers. I'm glad these things don't cost $500. The boss here is Anglerfish. One of the easiest bosses in the game. Just sit at the top of the screen, attack them. I would learn Mambo's Mambo, which is in one of the little caves right here, because it helps you transport around the world, which is very helpful.
Very. Okay. And it's a pretty sweet jam. So,
Angler's Tunnel do anything for you?
Nope. Okay. It's a good one. I like that flippers are included. It's very fun. I hate water in Zelda games where it just instant damages you. But if I have to get flippers, I mean, I'll get some flippers. Okay. And I think this made flippers cool to me as a kid. So like they were in a Zelda game.
Okay, so like you wanted to have flippers in your possession afterward.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Great. Cool. All right. So then Catfish's Maw. Apparently we just go right there. So in this level you find the item almost immediately, but it's stolen by a skeleton. You have to chase him down through the level to get the hookshot back. Once you do that, you can do some more puzzles. I know there's lots of rubies at this point. If you haven't been buying, say, the shovel for $200 or the whatever the arrows cost, like 1,000, probably a time to go drop some money at the shop. Although in the HD remake, you have you can collect up towards like 9,999. So because there's not just the 1,000 rupee cap as in the original, you don't have to worry too much about like having like 998 rupees and you open a chest and it's like, this has 500 rupees in it. And you're like, God damn it, game. God damn it.
Just wasted it.
Oh, I hate that so much. And that used to happen to me, especially on some of my early playthroughs of the original. So make sure you don't do that. The boss here is Slime Eel. Use the hookshot. You drag him out of the hole. You kick his butt. That's it.
Yeah, kind of a fun boss where he sticks out his tail with like has a spiky ball on it and got to get in front of him. I didn't remember how to beat this guy until I was like, has to deal with this bloody like hook shot. So I've finally figured out you gotta shoot him in the face. And you're like, oh right, I totally remember.
Yeah. I don't remember playing, like, I obviously didn't beat him as a child, so it wasn't like my initial playthrough with my friends. Somebody else obviously had the Game Boy that night when they beat him. So it was kind of like when I went back to it, I was like, oh yeah, this is interesting. What an interesting boss. Cool. I like that you pull him out of the wall, you hit him. Neat. Upgrade from here. I would think you should be able to collect all the seashells and upgrade your swords. Not on the HD one, but you can then head to the Face Shrine and fight the Jumping Knights to collect the Face Key, which it lets you enter the Face Shrine. Face Shrine. Did any trouble with this dungeon? I went through it without any difficulty. To the left is where you want to start. Solve the puzzle, get the item, which is the level 2 power bracelet. You can lift things as big as a whale. Now you can solve the rest of the dungeon. It's pretty straightforward. The boss here is Facade, and for some reason you have to use bombs to kill him.
Yeah, I never got why just like and bombs for some reason. Yeah, it's like okay, don't quite, but you kill them so quickly. It's so easy. You just put a bomb on his goofy face. I did have a trouble like when the Jumping Knights because I kept getting stepped on in the remake, and I was like, I just suck at this for some reason. I was happy to have my blue tunic that day.
Interesting. I feel like I think I just shoot arrows. Similar to Link to the Past, you can just kind of like spam arrows and cheat the system, I think.
Yeah, see, there's that guy, but like I think when you go into that one shrine or the one like dungeon to get the face key,
yeah,
like there's that one guy as soon as you walk in, like the second room.
Yeah, he's like a big knight, and you like hit him enough, and then his like face cracks open. You just keep hitting him.
Yeah. Him, but he jumps on you, and you like he doesn't. You have to do a spinning attack, so he kept knocking me out of my spinning attack. So I was like using bombs and arrows and hook shot, like my hook shot, and I was like my boomerang. Nothing was working. I was like, this sucks. This sucks. I was like, oh no, I just need to avoid him, and then
attack.
Spin attack.
So some bosses in this one, you have to like you want to run up and attack as fast as you can, but you almost have to like sit back and be like, what moves do you do, right? You need that little bit of patience. From there though, roosters. So there's a maze you have to complete to find Wart. He teaches you a song about bringing the dead back to life. You go back to town, you resurrect a flying rooster. We head to the mountains, find an eagle key, which then gives us access to Eagle Tower. So there are 3 different floors. The item here is the Mirror Shield. It deflects stuff. The boss here is Evil Eagle. With the red tunic, this guy is very simple. Deflect his quills and jump to attack. I feel like my notes aren't as atrocious as I made them out to be. Like, that was pretty succinct how to get between Face Shrine and Eagle's Tower. So, all right, I take it back. I love myself again. Whew, that was a tough 25 minutes.
Yeah, you really worried yourself there.
Oh boy, did I ever?
Yep, I like this boss though. It's like I always kind of remember like this being a thing, and I'm like, this is definitely the end of the game, but it's not quite the end of the game.
Yeah, there's still more to do, but yeah, in my mind too. Yeah, like this is the end boss, and I'm like, Eagle's Tower. We go fight the boss afterwards. Hell no, we didn't go to Turtle Rock. So on to the next one. From here, we can head to the last dungeon. You move to the left part of the map, solve some puzzles on a cave, bring a turtle to life, kill it, and gain access to Turtle Rock. It's pretty tough. You need to be on your A game. There are lots of dead ends and passages that need to be gone right through in the right order. The items in this level will help you melt ice blocks. Use Nap and be very smart to beat this one. Yeah, that sounds like a dumb sentence I would write. Item, Magic Rod. It shoots infinity flames. Cool. And the boss here is Hothead. Kind of a wimp. Sure, why not?
Yeah, definitely the hardest dungeon of the game.
Yeah.
Super easy to kind of get yourself sideways. I just followed a walkthrough at this point. I was like, I don't want to get lost.
Yeah, I could see that. So. I even got lost at some point. I remember I was like, you kind of have to go this way, but then as soon as you get this key, you don't keep going. You have to like turn around and go up here and then like undo this. And then once you do that, you go over here and like make sure to bomb that wall. So I had a little bit more struggle with this one, but nothing super major, I don't think. I think maybe I forgot about a key at some point. I had to look up because you know where there's the Gibdos and the cracked floor?
Right.
You have to kill them and that gives you a key. And I think I'd missed that at some point. But like, you know, that kind of minor for the most part. Turtle Rock, cool.
See, maybe I've messed this up. I forgot what dungeon it was where you have to knock the floor down.
That's Eagle's Tower. So you have on the second floor, right. There's the 4 pillars. You have a big steel ball. You have to go around and smash them all down, and then that lowers it. Yeah.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
for some reason why did we talk about that?
Yeah, that's a weird mechanic. Is there any other weird mechanics that we kind of just like overlooked? So quick recap on all the dungeons. The first level, pretty straightforward. Second one, there's a couple sequence breaking stuff, mostly pot puzzles. Key cavern, lots of keys. I think there's 3 or 4 extra keys in that area, because some doors literally lead into a room where you get a key.
And you lead into a room to get a key, to lead to a room and get a key.
Angler's Tunnel, there's some swimming. Like once you figure out how the sequence to get the flippers, it's like super easy. Catfish Maw is kind of tough. There's a skeleton chase, so there's 4 rooms where you fight Skullmaster, I think is what his name is. And you have to, the room is indicated by number of blocks in the corners. So the first one will have 1, the second one will have 2, 3, 4, right? So and it appears in sequence. Face Shrine, it's kind of a left and right. In my mind, you go left, you get the power bracelet, you go to there's like 2 things to do on the right side, you're done. Eagle's Tower, the floor drops down, and then Turtle Rock has like all the lava and ice puzzle.
Yes, and lots of backtracking.
Yeah. This one it can beat you if you again, walkthrough is not a terrible idea. Random question: are you going to beat or complete this game? So beat means you're just going to finish it, walk away, or complete. Are you getting all those seashells? Are you getting all those heart pieces? Are you doing all of Dampe's dungeon challenges?
I'm probably just beating this. I'm not going to complete it because even though it is lots of fun, those extra little things don't interest me enough to do it. And just the main game's rewarding enough where I don't think you have to do that stuff to enjoy yourself.
I agree. I kind of get to the point where I don't know. It's too much. I feel like I like to explore the world, but I hate going around the world just to collect I don't know. I'm just going to complete it. I beat this game a couple times as a child. I don't need to complete Zelda games at this point. It's like when I play A Link to the Past, I'm always short like 12 heart pieces, and I'm like, I'm probably good. I don't need to 100% it, I've been there, done that. I'm just here for this good time.
Yeah. I play too many games to really want to sit down and 100% many games.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So then loose ends. So I would finish the trading quest sequence now. I think you have to use the fish hook to find the scale, magnifying. Yeah, we already talked about that. Windfish egg. So now we're done. We can basically we have to go to a library in town to find a book which shows you the right sequence through this infinite maze. That's kind of neat. I like that. I was like, every game is unique. You can't just use a walkthrough. You have to do something. You have to have some autonomy. Cool. You head up to the Windfish egg. You play all the instruments. The door opens. Yeah, you do your little maze. You fall down a pit. You fall down a pit. Then you use the code from before. And then you fight the final nightmare. So the boss here is Nightmare. The first time he's a giant bot. I don't know what that is. I think it's like a little jelly guy, magic powder. Then he becomes Aghanim. You bounce magic back at him. Then he becomes Moldurm, the first boss in the game. You hit its tail. Then Ganon, you attack with your sword. I think you might need spin attack on this guy too. Lamola is magic powder. And then finally Deathel is something. You shoot him in the eye with bows and you just jump over him. Very, very easy.
Yeah. I think very cool to see Aghanim.
And Ganon. I think Aghanim's kind of cool, and like Ganon I thought it was actually challenging. But on that, very easy.
Yeah, basically those are the 2 hard ones. Like the Deathel, you shoot the eyes, just like the hard part's just being patient, just waiting for the darn thing to open its eye again. So
nice.
But pretty good little boss rush at the end.
It's not bad. And then again, you can go around and collect the world, and like you kind of have to start it over again. And this is not a terrible game. Like if you told me you beat it and you started it all over again because you had so much fun, you could play on Hero Quest on the HD version, right? So you could play a more difficult version where I don't think there's heart pickups.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'd make more sense because there's lots of
healing.
There's a couple times where you get like the special cream that lady has, or the massage the lady gives you. That hey, if you pass out, you'll be healed. There's a couple, like last 2 dungeons, those are just sitting in random chests. So if you accidentally use that option to the point, you can just basically refill that without having to run back to her and lose your place, which I kind of appreciate. Like it's kind of almost like a mini fairies temple.
Yeah,
Just bit,
yeah.
but in a box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's not bad. I know I died a lot. It's one of those things where you're so weak at the beginning of the game, it's almost unfair. But then after, say maybe when you get the flippers, the game's super easy again. Because you're just overpowered, right? You get 2 bottles, you have your fairies, you have your crazy Tracy's lotion. It's fine, right? So
Yeah.
it gets better. It's not bad. I played through that again. I played through this a couple times. I really liked this HD remaster. I thought it was really clean. And I spent a lot of time on my exercise bike with my Switch. So it's kind of me. There are 2 endings to this game. So if you die at any point, you talk to the windfish, the island disappears, and you wake up on your wrecked ship, and you see the windfish flying over you. If you didn't die, and you didn't steal from that shopkeeper, you see Marin as a seagull.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think she was. Does she talk about that on the date? Because don't you go on some date at some point?
And she's like, oh, where do the seagulls go? And like, what do you think's over the sea? And she kind of has hints that she's like, I like you, but I'm afraid that, like, I don't know what this world has for me. She indicates that there's something greater and she has more for herself. So I guess her soul becomes a seagull so she can explore and see other places.
Yes. Yeah, something like that. Because she's kind of talking about that she just feels like, almost like wishes she could see or be off this island.
Well, it gets kind of creepy towards the end of the game because all the characters, they start being like, they're like, you stopping the nightmare is going to kill us all. And you're like, what? And they're like, oh, nothing. Have fun. Like, wait, what did you just say, though?
Yeah.
Like, it does start getting...
That's when Peaks feel, where you're just like, all the characters are kind of aware of what's happening besides Link.
Yeah. And that's a really cool... I kind of wish they'd bring that back, actually, for a new Zelda game, where all of a sudden everyone just starts being, like, super meta towards the end, really creepy. And they're like, yeah, I guess you go kill Ganon if you never want to leave that temple. But yeah, okay, bye, fine. And you're like, wait, what did you just say? And like I don't know. It's good. It's done well. I kind of like it. So current thoughts. I really like this game. It's very lighthearted. I enjoy the fourth wall breaking. The jump mechanic is revolutionary. They did a good job with item management system. It's kind of outdated. It's cleaned up in the HD. So good job. The dungeons are quite simple. Very short, very manageable. Yeah, it's a manageable game. It's not tough. You're not going into this game being like, it's too hard. Maybe on hero mode. But even then, I know I completed it. You just die a lot.
Yep. I think it's pretty good. Definitely one of my favorite Zelda games. It's, I think, a very like easy but approachable experience. Like if somebody was to ask what's a like approachable, easier like Zelda game, but would get you into the franchise, I would say like this would probably be a great opportunity, like this one, because it's not as difficult as the other ones, and like the puzzle solving, like you can just do that without having to dig too much into it, and the narrative's very fun, and it's kind of got like almost this mystery of like the windfish going on, and the soundtrack's like cool. Epic.
You know what? I've never considered that. I've never considered this as one of the best intro Zelda games, right? Because I would always think A Link to the Past. That would be mine, or like Ocarina of Time. But those games can be really overwhelming for a new gamer, maybe like a significant other, a family member that doesn't play video games, that just wants to play something. But you're right, this might be the perfect... Because again, as children, dumb little kid, 12-year-old boys, without guides, without the internet, we were able to figure out how to beat this game. It'd be hard to do, like... the water temple without a guide. Like I think people would struggle and be frustrated, but I think you're right, this is the perfect introduction Zelda game, especially the new version. Super clean. Yeah.
And I think because I also think that the top down perspective, and the emphasis on like movement makes this game extremely fun to move around in. So it almost like the more time you spend with the controls, the better you will get at this game. You will stop taking those cheap hits. So I think that this game could definitely be considered like the game to like for noobs. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah. Great. Awesome. What would you change? So I know we have that as a section. I don't have it in my notes because I didn't. Would you change anything? Like I think what they did with the HD remake is kind of perfect. Yeah.
I agree. Okay. I still love me the original like cartoon. Or like, and I guess they like it's the same cartoon kind of style in here, but like the almost the big nosed goofy Link, like I miss that guy.
Yeah, Yeah, the old art style is kind of that sense. Awesome. So then finally, are you buying it? We've got a Link Battle Royale to look at. I didn't update it. We'll talk about it. Wayback Machine, and then a cultural significance. So still some sections to get through, guys. But that ends our review of this game. Now it's just hanging out with me and Tyson for 20 minutes. Let's go. Are you buying it? So Link was in a coma, and the Windfish helped him out? Or did Link actually travel into the Windfish's dream and help him wake up from his coma? Is the Windfish some kind of traveling sea god? Do we know? What do you think?
Well, he is a flying whale with looks like macrame jammies all over him. I don't know. He's a unique design, for sure. But yeah, could be. I don't know. It's also very strange that Link just so happened to like not be dead after being like overturned and knocked out in a storm in an ocean. So
it's very common actually to pass out face first in the ocean for multiple times, and then something dramatic to happen, and then you wake up and then you're just totally fine. So I don't know why you think that's weird. It happens all the time in movies.
Yep. Well, it's like I feel like there's a scene missing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Was he just on that driftwood the whole time? Maybe.
Could be.
Ship something. I was wondering if there was like a pun I could use with Zelda and like driftwood. Nothing came to my mind, so I'll just go on. All right. So anything you wish to touch upon from the timeline point of view? No, we good. Battle Royale. It's Battle Royale time, baby. Current co-champions versus Link's Awakening. Oh, okay, cool. So I realize we have done this for Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. I think we decided that the Hero of Time was the winner, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I looked up our notes and I didn't see anything. Like, I couldn't find definitively. I meant to go back and listen to those shows at some point, but I didn't, so...
Meh, oh well.
Yeah. I think of this one... I feel like we just know. Like, I think we know that Zelda 1 and... Zelda 2 and Link's Awakening were draws? Okay.
Yeah, because I think we started...
co-champions. So we think that A Link to the Past is as strong as Link from Zelda 2, because technically he's like both Link 1 and 2. Okay. And then Link's Awakening is... I think he's kind of a Link to the Past, because doesn't Link to the Past... Oh, no, he's from the Oracle games.
Yeah. No, because I think he's like...
Yeah.
I thought it was after
the,
Link's to the Past, he leaves on the ship and he wakes up in Link's Awakening.
At the end of the Oracle games, you see him, if you beat both games completely, you see him getting ready to sail on a boat. So this Link, this Link is our Oracle Link.
Got you.
Yeah. But also he like visits the Triforce that he saved at some point and has a Epona. Potentially he's like Ocarina of Time Link. Maybe?
Oh, interesting.
Something like that. Yeah.
I always thought Link's Awakening and Link to the Past were like...
the same guy.
Yeah, same guy.
Nope. I think for years that was the speculation, but I think the Oracle games did change that. So I think Oracle Link is the same guy.
I'm going to non-canonize the Oracle games. There we go.
Yeah, they're okay, but they're a struggle to get through. It's funny. I have absolutely no interest in playing those games again. Like, I've played them once on my own accord, played through one. We played through them both on the show. I can go listen to our experience and I'm happy and I never have to look at it again. Link's Awakening, I'd play it again.
If they did a Link's Awakening HD version of the Oracle game, I'm in.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I'm in.
All right, I'm in. Yeah, good. Hear that, Nintendo? We'll buy 2 copies of your stupid game so that we can do a stupid...
I'll even pre-order it.
Let's go. Let's get it going. It'll show up in our house 2 months later. Oh, I can't wait. All right. That's a good idea.
Good times.
Good idea. So that kind of ends that. I think go back and listen to our Legend of Zelda retrospective, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called.
Okay. I'm sure somewhere in there we talk about our Link Battle Royale. We used to keep track of all these things. I will, before we talk about our next game, I think, which we're doing next year, game or 2 maybe, I'll do some more work. This was guys, look, we're obviously just mailing in it as our podcast. Like, let's be serious. We're redoing old shows. What kind of hacks have we become? I'm not going to do research for these shows. I'm just going through the motions.
And I never do research or write notes. I just show up.
Yeah. See, what can you expect? What can you expect at all? It's kind of fun, I think, overall. What did we miss? We've got a cultural significance, Wayback Machine still. But other than that, It like kind of let's do that before we talk about anything else. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. I think I'm tired and dehydrated and want to see sunlight, not just be in my basement all day. That's where I'm at. You?
Yeah. Let's get into the Wayback Machine and then what cultural significance and wrap this thing up.
All right. So Wayback Machine. So the remake came out September 20th, 2019. On The Simpsons, you could see season 31, episode 1, The Winters of Monetized Content. Homer and Bart become viral stars. Hilarity ensues. Top shows this year were The Mandalorian, Carnival Row, Servant, Euphoria, The Boys, and Living with Yourself.
All right. Okay.
All right. Remember we see a Baby Yoda? Baby Yoda's in our lives, and we're like, oh, cute.
Yep.
He's still adorable all these years later. God damn it, Baby Yoda.
He is. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. All right. The movies that came out. So this week we saw Abominable, Ad Strada, and Rambo: Last Blood.
Okay. That was it's been a very I think Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
I was okay. Ad Astra. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, why does that name ring a bell? But not quite.
What did I say? Ad Strada?
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra. That's the one with Brad Pitt, and he's like
in space,
and he has to go visit his father at the edge of the universe, and it's just weird. Like, it should have been better than it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I know that director is kind of known for doing those types of movies.
Yeah, like there's a couple movies that just go out there. Like there was one I think it was called Love, and it's about this man who's in a space station, and like one night while he's sleeping, you see all the lights on Earth, and all of a sudden there's like a explosion, and all the lights go out, and then he's just in the space station. He can't talk to anyone. It's him dealing with all this, and then at the end, this like giant triangle shows up, like this like pyramid pulls up to his station, and he like walks around, and he like finds all these videos of all these people like being in love, and that's the movie.
It seems like
Love.
They came up with a framing device for a movie, but didn't.
Romance drama. Is that what it was called? Love? It's about a guy in space? Not okay. Maybe it's called something else. It was weird. Anyways, it kind of reminded me of that. Or like space cool, and then in the end you're just like, what is happening? Still in theaters, you could see Downton Abbey, Hustlers, and It Chapter 2. Hey man, we were doing a podcast at this time. Neat.
Nice. That's what we were doing.
Yep. Then if you waited a week or two, you could see Joker, Gemini Man, and Zombieland double tap. Cool.
Got you. Yeah, kind of a rough year, actually.
Yeah, games released this month were Final Fantasy VIII Remastered.
Ugh.
Yeah, I was giving you a pause because I knew you were going to make a disgusting sound. Kirby, Super Kirby Clash, NBA 2K20, River City Girls, Borderland 3, Lego Jurassic Park, FIFA 20, and Mario Kart Tour. So that might be an app or something. I don't think that's a game. It's like something else.
Yeah, I think that's the Mario Kart mobile game.
Yeah.
Because there is that, apparently, I think.
Okay, cool. And that
sounds horrible to me. But.
So no songs, because I kind of I feel like maybe if It Chapter 2 is around this time, we probably have done the songs. And I wanted to keep the show a little simpler, obviously less robust, right? So
cut down on the YouTube strikes or whatever.
Yeah. And that's it. So remember that. So we kind of remember where we were at that time, because I was like, oh yeah, we went and saw It Chapter 2. Great.
Yep.
Neat.
Yep. Couldn't wait for this, and then we saw it, and we're
that's it.
That's
it. And then for cultural significance, so in this section, we usually end the show talking about some type of a big overarching topic. I'll make some type of fun tournament for Tyson to play. We'll look at certain elements of the game and give some type of pop cultural, I don't know, reflection. That's what I want to say. I can't really describe that. How would you call that? We kind of look at games. I would think, where do they draw their inspiration from? I think is a better way of saying that. For this game, Zelda, it's Nintendo. It's kind of a love letter to Zelda and Nintendo by Nintendo, right? So nothing super crazy. What I did think, though, is had we not talked about it, we should talk about Dampe's Zelda Maker, right? So in this game, they have something called, it's like Dampe's Dungeon something. dungeon maker or something, and you
Yeah.
go in and make challenges. So you get to take rooms, and you have to create certain levels, right? So you need to put a boss key, and you need to have stairs that match each other, and you need to have chests, and then you go through and you could play these little challenges. Pretty revolutionary. I know I played through a ton. I think I almost 100%ed this when I first played it. It's great. It gets very repetitive after a while. It's boring, right? Not boring, but it can be like that. So did you play any of this?
I touched it like once, and then I was like, okay, that's what it is, and I just moved on with my time. So I saw that random brick just sitting in the
the shop, right?
The shop.
Yeah.
Oh, and I didn't even talk about how terrible the crane game. They ruined my crane game.
Yeah.
Because round objects roll apparently, and it just things will just fall out of it. So, but there's all of a sudden there's a random rock because I would just keep going there periodically because I didn't want to miss out on any heart pieces.
Oh, okay.
And I just saw that rock and I was like, what the heck is this? So I had no idea about the actual dungeon maker stuff, but grabbed it. Then I talked to Dampy and built one, and I was like, that's fun, but I'm probably not going to do it again. I touched it once, but I'm not a map maker. The only map maker I ever do was Halo.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, so for this game, it's tough to... So basically you get a grid and you put the tiles down and it's just one room at a time of a dungeon. There's different challenges. So some of them, towards the end, you have to build a bottle. So it'll be a 3 or 4 by 6 screen, and you have to make a full dungeon that has areas that make sense, that works. It can be a challenge, and then having to go in and knowing that all these rooms exist, and you're like, oh, that's a challenge. I don't want to go to play that room. Usually I just try and keep it as simple as possible. I always played it as, can I cheese this? I want rooms that are just single hallways, that have no enemies, that are very, very not easy for me to kind of get through. The level 1 rooms, you can get more chamber stones. You can find a piece of heart. There's secret shells. The level 2 and 3 challenges, they are similar rewards, except I forget what they give you. Why didn't I write that down? They have similar rewards. Okay, cool. Maybe heart pieces, or maybe they're
in shells.
Maybe they're chamber stones, heart pieces, and secret shells. That's probably what it is. Except for there's a level 3 area called heart storage, and that gives you a bottle. And then all of the level 4 or gold level challenges give you 300 rupees for beating it.
Oh, why would you need money at this point in the game?
To buy more chamber stones.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
got you.
Positive feedback loop is what they created there. Good job, Zelda. I think it's it's fun. It's unique. If you haven't played it before, play it. Right? If you're not super into it, this might be a good thing to put down and come back to in 6 months. That's what would be my recommendation for you is put Link down right now. Link's Awakening. You don't have to look at it. In 6 months time, grab it and just play the Dungeon Maker. And you might be like, oh, this is incredible. This is exactly what I wanted. It's just the dungeons of this fun world, and I get to create them, right? So I don't know. That's probably how I would look at it. But it being such a massive part of this game, it'd be a shame not to mention it at least, right? So there you go. We mentioned it.
Yep. And it's a cool aspect of the game. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that it's included, but it's not required.
Cool. Yeah, sweet. So, did we miss anything? Are you happy that we came back to this? I think it worked. I think
so.
It kind of worked. It was kind of fun. Like a once in a while, maybe we should once a year, twice a year, like I said, we should pick a game that we've already played and put a nice new coat of polish and kind of almost commentary, make commentary on our past shows almost, right? Especially ones that we've done before we introduced the Wayback Machine. So any of our first 50 shows, prime candidates to be remade.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good games in there, and as we've kind of just got more experience, I think our games or our shows have gotten better.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of nice to kind of go back and polish up some stuff that we put a lot of effort into, and it'd be a shame if it just
Well, the sad thing is our old shows suck, and we put way more effort. I put way more effort into those shows versus our new shows, way better. And outside of making notes and playing the game and talking, editing takes me 20 minutes to get everything up online now. So
yeah, but that comes with practice.
Yes. Sweet. Cool. So with that's everything. Then we say goodbye. See you guys. I think see you in 2 weeks. We're watching X-Men again.
Yeah.
Neat.
See you in 2 weeks.
Cool. Bye.